Hi, I'm Sue. I am one of the parent education midwives at the Rotunda, and today I'm going to chat with you about vitamin D and your breastfeeding support network. So first I'm going to chat with you about vitamin D. So babies need vitamin D to help them absorb calcium, and calcium helps babies build healthy teeth and healthy bones. Vitamin D also helps build babies' immune system. So breastfed babies are going to need vitamin D supplementation every day for the first year of their life, whereas formula-fed babies, they don't need vitamin D supplementation as there is vitamin D in their formula. You can buy vitamin D from your pharmacy, so over the counter, and your pharmacist will help you choose a brand that's right for you. The best time to give vitamin D is before a feed when baby is rooting, and the correct dose is 5 micrograms once a day for a year. Next, I'm going to chat with you about your support network. So during your stay in the Rotunda, we have midwives, student midwives and maternity care assistants on the postnatal wards, and a big part of their role is helping you with your breastfeeding, helping you build your confidence around breastfeeding so that when you go home, you're comfortable positioning, latching baby, you're comfortable recognizing those feeding cues. And if you're confident going home breastfeeding, that's a big part, that's going to play a big part in getting your breastfeeding off to a good start. If you're experiencing any breastfeeding challenges that your midwife feels they can't help you with, so they've exhausted their expertise, we will call a lactation consultant to come review you before you go home from hospital. GP, so you're going to be with your GP for babies' 2-week and 6-week checkups. And if you have any questions around breastfeeding, you can always ask your GP at these checkups. Your public health nurse will be calling in usually the first 2 to 3 days after you arrive home from hospital. And public health nurses are a brilliant feeding support. They offer one-to-one support in your home for that first visit. They run breastfeeding groups, so they'll give you details of the breastfeeding groups as well. And they're always on the other end of the phone. 2 brilliant resources are Kelly Mom. So you'll find the link to Kelly Mom, www.kellymom.com, in the resource links on our webpage, on our parent education webpage. And I would encourage you to read the article on growth spurts and the article on cluster feeding on the kellymom.com webpage. They're 2 really, really good articles that are going to give you an insight into these 2 really important topics. Breastfeeding.ie offers a free live chat with IBCLC service. So you can go on to the breastfeeding.ie webpage. Down the bottom right hand corner, you're going to see a little speech bubble. It says live chat with lactation consultant. And I think it's between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, you can ask any questions you like through that live chat, and a lactation consultant will get back to you more or less immediately. So that's a really good support as well. There is also Quidju, La Lesh League, Friends of Breastfeeding, so lots of breastfeeding support out in the community. We also run a breastfeeding workshop here at the hospital, and this is run by our lactation consultants, and it's designed to build on the information that you're learning in these breastfeeding videos. The workshop is from 5 until 6:30, and to gather more information or to book in, you can email appointment scheduling at rotunda.ie. Soothers. So parents always ask us about Soothers and breastfeeding. So if your plan is to breastfeed, we would generally encourage you not to introduce a soother until breastfeeding is well established at approximately 1 month of age. The reason for this is because if baby would like to do some suckling in that first month, it would make more sense for them to be suckling on the breast where they're building towards your milk supply and practicing their latch. Parents always ask us about winding or burping babies. So we always give both breast and formula-fed babies the opportunity to get their wind up after a feed. The most important thing when you're winding a baby is just to make sure that their chin is off their chest. Okay, so I want you to try something with me. Okay, so if you just swallow normally, it's pretty easy. If your chin falls down on your chest, just like a baby with a heavy head, and you try to swallow, often you can feel everything feels much tighter in your neck. So that's your esophagus kinks or tightens when the head is in this position. If baby's head is in this position and he's trying to get his wind up, often it can take a long time or sometimes be an unsuccessful winding, as the wind will typically just back up in baby's esophagus here, but not actually be released. So the most important thing is just with your thumb and forefinger, support baby's chin and jaw, and keep it off the chest. And then what we can do is just give baby's back a bit of a rub or a bit of a pat, a bit of a rub, a bit of a pat, and baby should get their wind up. If baby hasn't done a burp in about 5 or 6 minutes, but they appear really happy and really content, perhaps they're not windy, so just pop them down to bed. If after 5 or 6 minutes they haven't done a burp, but they're arching their back, they're drawing their knees up to their chest, they're appearing very uncomfortable, perhaps they are windy, but what we're doing isn't working. So what we're going to do is adjust baby's position. So we can pop baby up over a shoulder, for example, and we can wind baby in this position. Again, just a little bit of a rub and a little bit of a pat. And again, if we're unsuccessful, we can bring baby across our chest in a diagonal position. That can sometimes be great for releasing trapped wind. If all else fails, back to sitting up position, and you might find that just moving a baby around those different winding positions has kind of freed up maybe some trapped wind, and baby gets their wind up a little bit easier, becomes a little bit more comfier, and you can then pop them down to bed. So that's winding baby. Thank you so much for watching our breastfeeding videos, and we look forward to seeing you in another antenatal class.